Welcome everyone, my name's Corey Allen and this is the Overton Report. We've been taking kind of a break on these because there's just been so much happening that we can't keep up. We really can't. So many lies, proven to be lies. So many truths that were told that were called lies that turned out to be absolute reality. Trying to follow all of this reforming of different parties and radical sections of the leftists taking complete control of the government, whether that's local, county, state, or federal. I know you guys have seen it. Now, of course, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris decided to call a lid on everything in the White House Saturday. You know, it was a long 2 days. It was a long 2 days for Joe Biden, stealing jobs from tens of thousands of Americans. It was a long 2 days demanding that ICE release every single undocumented immigrant that they had in custody, even though 71% of the illegal immigrants in custody are convicted criminals. And no, I'm not talking about they're convicted of being here illegally. He sent a letter demanding. Of course, he wrote an executive order. His handlers wrote an executive order for him to sign that didn't say anything about releasing anyone. But the Biden administration wrote a letter to all the ICE detention facilities demanding that they release everyone. Guys, it was so hard for him that he had to take a break on Saturday. 3 days in. 3 days in. Now, of course, we all know that the United States of America, under President Trump, got out of the Paris Climate Accords. After getting ourselves out of the Paris Climate Accords, we were able to decrease emissions more than any country in the Paris Climate Accords. And more than the Paris Climate Accords even called for us to do it. The only real differences were that the Paris Climate Accords were imposing extreme restrictions on American industry. But not to worry, Joe Biden has signed an executive order putting us right back into that treaty. That was about the same time that he took tens of thousands of jobs from American citizens. So look, there's one thing that is really funny to me, and this is one of the best examples of the hypocrisy coming out of the Biden administration and the media. Okay, now remember back during the campaign when Joe Biden was saying we're not going to end fracking, but then he was also saying we're going to end fracking. So there was a lot of confusion. But when Trump and Pence and, everyone who has ears and eyes started saying Joe Biden is going to end fracking, he's going to, it's proven safe, we're all good, we are energy independent for the first time in American history, Joe Biden is going to stop that, Joe Biden is going to end that, and we were called every name in the book. Our posts got fact checked, people got kicked off of online forums all over the place. The media hammered Donald Trump over and over and over again, calling him a liar. Well, look at this.
Senator Harris, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. You yourself said on multiple occasions when you were running for president that you would ban fracking. Joe Biden looked at a supporter in the eye and pointed and said, I guarantee that we will abolish fossil fuels.
So
False.
It's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. And what about fracking?
All right, let me allow Vice President Biden to respond.
I never said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it on.
Put it on the website. The fact of the matter is he's flat lying.
Would you rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer we need other.
I will not ban fracking in Pennsylvania. I'll protect those jobs, period, no matter what Donald Trump says. But I tell you what,
Because July 31st, 2019, when asked about that, Vice President Biden left a very strong impression that fracking would be eliminated, and he would say there'd be no more subsidies for it. His position has since evolved.
First of all, I will repeat, and the American people know, that Joe Biden will not ban fracking. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Even during the debates, they just acted like, both Kamala and Joe Biden just acted like we were stupid. Truly scoffed and looked down their noses. How dare you even pretend to say that we are going to do that? Well, the Joe Biden administration is now calling for an end to fracking. Gas prices have already gone up at least 40 cents in the majority of the country. People have already lost their paychecks. And you know, that's just the beginning. Donald Trump was called a monster for an entire year because he dared to cite studies that were showing a high efficacy for hydrochloroquine in the treatment of COVID-19. How dare he? That's irresponsible. He told you to put bleach in your arm. CNN now says a surprising new study found that the controversial anti-malarial drug hydroxychloroquine helped COVID-19 patients better survive in the hospital. We are very curious to know who was surprised by this new study, because the old studies all said the exact same thing. You know who was surprised? All of the idiots who voted for Joe Biden because they wouldn't look past CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times lying their way into the White House for them. You see, Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, they held our nation hostage. Kamala said the protests, the peaceful protests that you see in the streets, burning buildings, cars, looting, killing people, beating them in the streets, all those peaceful protests, they weren't going to end before the election, and they weren't going to end after the election. She said, beware. And she was right. Even after the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, it still didn't end. The original Starbucks in Seattle, the temple of leftism itself, destroyed. Antifa and BLM groups smashed Democratic headquarters and began attacking the federal courthouse once again.
You will give an account to God for everything you...
Hey, that sign looks familiar. Here's one exactly like it in Charleston, South Carolina, where we're based out of. Interesting. No word yet on whether this would be considered an act of sedition by the elite. I would say they've been committing acts of sedition for a year and it's gone unanswered. And that got a huge portion of the population really hyped up. Now, of course, that's not all that's going on. Joe Biden spent all year, all 2020, talking about how Donald Trump was terrible because he did not have a plan to get this virus under control, and that 400,000 deaths were on his hands. Now that he's been elected, he says there is nothing that we can do to get this virus under control for at least the next few months. Which is strange, because right as he was saying that, some of the harshest and most disgusting governors and mayors of Democratic and far left cities and states decided that suddenly they could allow business owners to begin conducting business again. Whitmer in Michigan, de Blasio and Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, all of them, all of a sudden. Mayor Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, we have to open up. The economy can't take it. Another example of leftists holding you hostage. Holding the citizens of our nation hostage until they get the power that they desire. And what do they do with that power? Well, ask the guy that's heading up the Pentagon. They're hoping that they can give it to China and depend on them for national security. This isn't a joke. This is real life. What do? I am under the firm belief that what we do is keep calling it out when we see it. Keep calling out the hypocrisy. I know if you show it to 1,000 people, you might only get 2 or 3 of them to finally admit it. But if you do it 1,000 times, it makes a difference. So that's what we're going to keep doing here on the Overton Report. And with the newly formed Overton Group, we will continue writing articles, doing videos. We're working on podcasts, and it's really coming together. So guys, share this video, show everyone truth. We'll keep reporting on it, and that's all there really is to it. You can follow us, of course, on Facebook, MeWe, YouTube. Just search The Overton Report. And you can follow us, of course, on theovertonreport.substack.com. Just put your email in, and we'll be able to get all this stuff directly to your inbox, and you can show people accordingly. You don't have to rely on Facebook's algorithm or whatever the next ploy will be to keep you censored and to keep us censored. Thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon. My name's Corey Allen, and this has been The Overton Report.